So here I am just out on the course giving you the next video update. This one's got some club information in as well, so you'll see me sat at my desk giving you some updates as well. But really important you watch this one to the end if you will. There's lots of bits of information about the upcoming AGM and so on. First update is just about the upcoming AGM. All members should now have received the AGM notice. If you haven't, please get in touch with the office because it means there's some problem with your email address on our system, but all members should have now received that. And for your convenience, on the members website, if you go to the information tab, that you will find in there a copy of the notice, the minutes of the last AGM as well, if you wanted to read through those, and the reports and so on are attached. So head into the website, press the information tab once you've logged in, and in there you'll find all the information for the AGM. Just so that you know, the upcoming AGM, we're going to hold it here at the club, so everybody who wants to come is welcome, of course. But we are this time round going to also stream the AGM virtually, a little bit like the last one. It won't be quite as technical as the last one, less cameras involved, but there'll be a simple stream going out for the AGM this time round, and members will also be able to vote via the virtual attendance as we did last time round. So keep an eye out for an email if you want to attend virtually, and you'll have to register your interest. It's really important. You won't receive the invite for the meeting if you don't register your interest to attend virtually. So keep an eye out for that email, which will be coming to you this week, and register your interest, and you'll be able to log in just like you did last time round, attend the meeting virtually, and vote on the couple of resolutions that are up. Okay, let's talk about Tiger Rough. So Tiger Rough this year has been incredibly thick. The weather has been sort of on and off all season, so the growing conditions have been really good, which has meant the Tiger Rough that we're trying to develop into a thin and wispy rough over a few years, this year has been really thick. So for an unusual step, what we're actually doing, and you'll see it just over my shoulders, we're starting to cut the Tiger Rough much earlier than we normally would. Normally we would start this work in September running into October, and what we're doing is we're cutting the Tiger Rough and collecting it and taking it away. So I'm on the second here and I'm a little bit further off line, and you can see this is the heavy rough that we've got this year, and there's quite a lot of thick coarse grasses in there, in amongst the really nice fine grasses that we're trying to promote. And because it's so thick and heavy this year, we're cutting that earlier than normal, as I say. And the reason we cut and collect it and take it away is because all that grass contains nutrition, and so if that just rots down into the autumn and winter, all that nutrition goes back into the soil. So by cutting and removing it, we're taking that food source away, and the heavier grasses prefer a really fertile soil, whereas the fine grasses we're trying to promote will flourish in more impoverished conditions. So by taking that nutrient away, we'll encourage the finer grasses. And also the machine that we use cuts the grass, collects it, but it also scarifies, so you can see we've got a really nice thin base there which will come back quickly. So you could consider the Tiger Rough in two distinct areas really. There's the managed Tiger Rough, the stuff that we manage every year, we cut and collect and try and thin out. And then if you're further offline, you're going to get the, I wouldn't call it unmanaged, but for the argument, for the purposes of this, let's say it's unmanaged. That's the stuff that we don't do much with. Probably every 2 or 3 years we'll go in and do some work on that stuff, and that's where the environment, the natural insects and stuff, invertebrates, that's where these things are living, and it's great for the environment, but they're much further offline. And as you can see, I'm just here on 15, and I'm going to try and show you what we're trying to get to. Now this year, this 15th is a good example of what we want to achieve, but this year you can see these fine lovely bent grasses, which are the sort of purpley brown haze that you've got, have developed really thick this year, and getting your ball into this stuff, it's quite heavy and dense, which is why we're taking the decision to do this work early. If I move off into an area that's had a bit more work, you can see you can put your ball in here quite nicely, and you're going to find it every time. And this is what we're after. It's really quite stunning from a visual point of view from a distance, but if you dropped a ball into here and you knew roughly where it went, you're going to be able to find it and play it out of here. So this is the ultimate aim, but it's going to take time. And here I am further left on 15, and you can see this stuff is a lot heavier, and you've got some thistles in there, which this area is probably coming up for some work, if I'm honest, but hasn't really been tackled for a few years. And if you get into this stuff, which is my kind of golf shot, I wouldn't expect you to be able to find your ball. It's way offline, and we treat these areas slightly differently. Whilst I'm in this area, we've got the soil here from the drainage project, which has been initially shaped up, so I'll just give you an update. We've had a visit recently from a representative from Barenberg Seeds. In our game, Barenberg are the seed people. They only do the very best seed. I've worked with them for 20 odd years, and they've never sold me a product that hasn't been absolutely superb in the past. So they've been in, and we've had a look at all these mounds together, and they're going to suggest a really nice meadow wildflower meadow mix, which will be predominantly grass, of course, but we'll have a lovely spattering of wildflowers, which will take 12 to 18 months to develop fully, but once it's done, these areas will be really superb. And we've gone to the very best in the business to make sure this works. Whilst talking about the tiger rough, I'll just quickly mention the normal cut rough, if you like, which we mow at 2.5 inches here at the club. It's grown so quickly this year. The weather has been perfect for growing grass since the initial dry month, and so keeping on top of this rough has been really difficult for the staff. They've been working flat out, but the reason it's thicker and heavier in places is purely that it's growing so quick, and golf clubs all over the country are struggling with their rough this year. We're actually cutting rough now twice a week, which I don't recall ever doing in my time in greenkeeping. Another quick one, ground under repair, always marked by a white line. We mark this stuff on a Friday, normally refresh it, so you can see this is fading off a little bit, this area, but it all gets remarked each Friday. All ground under repair, relief must be taken. If you read the back of your scorecard, you will see that we changed this rule a couple of years ago, so all relief must be taken at all times for GUR, just as a bit of a reminder. Just want to talk quickly about greens. I'm just on the 10th. Lots of our nearest neighbours have struggled this year with fusarium, and it's easy to understand why if you understand the disease itself. It's a fungal disease in turf. It's very common. It's almost like the common cold, and conditions have been absolutely perfect in the last few months with a continual wet weather coming in, mild and warm conditions, perfect for fungal activity. What I can tell you is though that save for a very small outbreak that we cleared up quite quickly, as a club we haven't used a application of fungicide, chemical fungicide, since February this year, and I know a lot of other clubs nearby are needing to repeat their applications 3-4 weekly at the moment, or previous to this now dry spell. So I think praise to the team, done a really good job. The management of the surfaces has been really good, and we're not only not spraying chemicals, but the greens have been, the surface has been really clean of fusarium, no scarring. Really great job. And I really wanted to call that out because the conditions here agronomically are no different to our neighbouring clubs in reality. So to not have fusarium and not have to use those chemicals in the last few months really tells us its own story about the success of the management programme of these greens, and we've got some really nice surfaces. So as I say, really well done to everybody involved in that. Just walking up 12 here, just a quick shot of the ditches, which I think have blended in really nicely now on 12. and have become a nice playing hazard and feature of this hole. Really looking quite nice and settled. I'm actually looking really here though, the update is a little bit on the drainage project, which has come along quite nicely, and one of the benefits of the good weather, good growing weather, is that most of these drain lines are filling over quite nicely now, and as you can see that they're all but disappearing in front of us, which has been really great. So those lines there on 12 were some of the last to be put in, but a lot of people have asked about this stuff up on 12, and this is where the drain line, unfortunately because of the unusual heavy downpours we've been having, a lot of this drain line here is being washed out with the runoff from this green. So lots of people are asking what we're going to do about this, and in truth, for now, the answer is not a lot. We can't turf this stuff at this time of year. There's a heat wave coming, and the turf will die in literally a morning when the temperatures go up. So we'll keep doing what we can, see if we can get some grass cover on there. But come September, we'll be able to put some turf on there if we haven't managed to, and get that recovered. Just a bit of variety now back in the office. Another club update rather than anything to do with the course really, although it does involve the course, is Freedom Day as it's now dubbed. So the 19th of July, next Monday, we are moving to level 4, I think they call it, step 4 sorry, and we're seeing most of the restrictions end. So just to give you an update of what we're going to do as a club in the next few weeks. Obviously the COVID cases are still on the rise, and we're going to take a responsible view for, as much as we can from the club's point of view, and first of all we're going to encourage everybody to continue to wear a mask in the clubhouse when moving around, or visiting the facilities, the toilets, etc. We encourage all our members and visitors to continue to wear a mask, if not for yourselves then for others. Out on the course, all the flags can be removed if you wish to when you're playing golf as of next week. So the cup, the sponges and so on, the ball stoppers will be removed, and you can remove the flag and put out as normal. That is to say, if you want to. Again, if you don't want to, you can still retrieve your ball without touching the flag if that's what you prefer. Rakes will be back out. We've ordered a brand new set of rakes. There's been a bit of a delay with those, so I can't promise you they'll be out there on Monday morning, but they'll be out there next week definitely. In the club, so as I say, we're encouraging everybody to continue to wear a mask as much as possible. We are going to continue table service. The main reason for continuing table service is that everybody really enjoys table service. It's been one of the great successes of the restrictions, so table service will continue, and so we'll ask everybody not to visit the bar. This will avoid congregations at the bar, but we are going to strictly stick to table service going forward, and I'm sure that'll be welcome based on the feedback I've had. And finally, second to last point is tea times. Lots of people have asked when tea time booking will be removed, and we've always said while restrictions are in place we have to keep it. What we are now going to do, now the restrictions are coming to an end, is we are going to begin a review of the tea time situation, because I think this is the great Brexit debate. Lots of people have come out in support of the tea, in support of keeping the tea system. So we're going to do some research on this, weigh up the pros and cons, and then crucially we'll be surveying the members, asking for your input before we decide as a club what we should do going forwards. So that's one to look out for in the next week or so, your views on the tea booking system. If I could ask you not to email your views until you get the survey. We've got a lot of incoming emails at the moment, and I prefer to wait for the official survey to give me your opinions on that one. And finally, just a reminder that all government guidance must be followed in regards to symptoms, attending the club. No member or visitor should be at the club if they have any symptoms, suspect they have COVID. Follow the government guidance, and this also goes for holidays. If you've been away and you are needing to isolate, strictly follow the government guidance, and don't attend the club if the government guidance suggests that you shouldn't. Just an operational point for us, as I've just said, we are going to continue table service, and we get quite a lot of feedback from members about their accounts and using their accounts whilst we're doing table service, and have they had this charge, have they had that charge. One thing I would encourage everybody to do is to download the iGolf app, which will give you information about your account and your spending. Also, it will send you a real-time push notification each time your account is used, so if there was this rare occasion where there's some sort of mistake, you'll know about it straight away. So there's lots of other great features on the app, and I would suggest that 98% of mobile phones now will support it, so most of you should be able to get the app and you'll find it really useful. So I'd encourage you all to download that app and keep up to date with your online accounts, which will make our lives a lot easier as well. In order to download the app, all you've got to do is log into the website, go to My Golf, select Preferences, and in there you'll find a link to download the app, whether you're Android or iOS device, and all the instructions on what to do in there as well. So it's pretty straightforward. If you do get stuck, ask a fellow member. Most of the people I see are using the app now. That suggest more than half, so somebody else will be able to help you out, and worst case, come to the office and they'll help you out as well. Last update from me, just to give you an idea where we are, where the whole world is really, well, not the whole world, but certainly the country is struggling with hospitality. Anybody trying to recruit in hospitality right now will tell you the same story. It is really difficult for various reasons. You can blame Brexit, COVID, whatever you want to do. There are a few reasons, but what I can tell you is recruitment in hospitality, whether it's pot washers, glass collectors, barmen, chefs, you name it, really hard to come by. So we've struggled lately, and I'll just put you on notice that there may be times when we can't offer the service that we really want to while we're struggling to recruit, but working hard on it. I've been interviewing this week. Failside are interviewing for chefs almost continually at the moment, not just for here but for some of their other venues, and we're getting by as best we can at the moment. But just be aware, you know, it's a problem everywhere, and there's not a great deal we can do about that. But we're working hard, and so far I think disruption's been just one or two occasions where we haven't managed to keep the halfway hut open quite as long as we would have liked, but we're working on it. Bear with us. So it's a widespread problem. Just going on from hospitality, just to prove how well we have managed so far. This is 16 barrels, empty barrels, ready for collection tomorrow. So 16 barrels, 88 pints per barrel. It's been consumed in the last week at the club. It's been a good week for the club. We've worked very hard. Just a thanks to all the hospitality staff, the bar, catering. It's been a really tough time. They've had to work extra hard and a bit longer than normal. So great job, team, and I'll see you all for the next update.